existence, that transition has almost been seamless, with no problems, with very, very few frictions, absent all of the controversy and fights and discrepancies that existed in the old world from which we all came once we come here. That is the hope of this great society. And as your organization, which holds up to great honor and esteem, members especially of the law enforcement community, who keep us safe 24/7, just as the courts keep us civil all year round, and our troops keep us free throughout the ages. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Congratulations to all of the honorees. And Michael, thank you so much for continuing to do this. God bless.
Thank you very, very much. A few changes.
To the Asian American Council, to our wonderful distinguished guests, I would name all of you and your wonderful places here, but I'm afraid I'll fall far short of what Congressman Ackerman was able to do, so I'll leave it at distinguished guests. It is a pleasure to be part of anything that the Asian American Council and their executive chairman, Michael Lim, any event they put on. And I want to thank them for taking the time this year and every year to acknowledge all those who contribute in many ways to the Asian American community. And it is that recognition and what results from it that I would like to speak about tonight. It is easy for us to see good work done every day and to think to ourselves, that person does a good job, that group does a good job, and we think to ourselves, aren't they wonderful? But it is not enough to just look at that good work, recognize it internally. It is important to recognize it publicly. It is important to identify it, to recognize it, and to reward it. And it is groups like the Asian American Council and people like Mr. Lim that really help us do that in the best way. It's very important to us. It's part of our culture, our heritage, our tradition. Public service and volunteerism need to be nurtured. They need to grow in a spirit that is welcoming and that is supportive, so that volunteerism and public service continue to be our tradition. And I am delighted to tell you that there is no finer example of that than the Asian American Council, Mr. Lim, his staff, and the affiliated groups and organizations that he works with. And I can give you an example of how they've interacted with the agency that I work for, which is United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. We do the benefits work on the immigration side of the house. And for the last couple of years, many of you may know that some of the applications for benefits like green cards and citizenship have been backlogged, waiting for security checks. Security checks that my agency and the FBI work together on. When I got to New York 2 years ago, Mr. Lim made very clear to me that that was a source of frustration in the community. He made it clear to me that I needed to hear what the community had to say. He served a source of frustration in the community, as anyone would be frustrated if you wait for something you believe you are legally entitled to. But more than that, they had become hurtful in the community. People saw the cross with the communities in this area. He helped us get before the public, meet with the community leaders, meet with the media, talk to the people, and hear what they had to say. He encouraged us and inspired us to find a solution. And this March, when we did find a solution, Mr. Lim was right there with the FBI and USCIS to, again, bridge the gap with the community, help us reach out and tell them that we had found a solution and that we were going to move forward and help us with any number of issues like this. When we change our naturalization test, as we have recently, they're right by our side to help us inform the community, to offer us a venue to speak, but more importantly, to stand right by our side as a partner. They value public service, and they inspire volunteerism. I really think that we owe Mr. Lim and the Asian American Council a round of applause for that. Mr. Kim, would you please thank you? The volunteerism and public years of service to the community that the Asian American Council has given us, 24 years of leadership with Mr. Kim, with Mr. Lim. We are so appreciative, and I am so appreciative, and I applaud and recognize the public servants and the dedicated volunteers in the audience today, and I think you should give yourselves a round of applause because you really are the true, unique part of New York that makes it go.
A particular honor to be here, and a greater honor to speak before D.A. Brown. This is the first time in my life that I've had the opportunity. We've both been before crowds over a number of years from my prior life as a Supreme Court Justice, Administrative Judge of Queens County, and now my life in the Attorney General's office serving with Andrew Cuomo. There have been few constants. Michael Lim is one of the constants that I've observed over my years in public service. And I mentioned District Attorney Brown because that's where I first met Michael Lim in connection with his precinct council. Forward, Michael Lim has continued to serve this community at the table. Michael has ensured that there is a line of communication between his community and government services, and that speaks mounds about his ability to continue the American dream consistent with the value system that we all honor, that being law-abiding citizens, as well family, education, and I think that this yearly celebration is a credit to all he's done. And on a personal note, I've had the opportunity to come to know he has provided his community and the larger community. He's extending that statewide. He talked about some of the ideas that he has in going upstate in connection with economic development. But to come to know him, he is a very warm, very compassionate. We all stand up and honor Michael Lim, Executive Chair of the Asian American Council.
Delighted to have the opportunity to be here once again this year, as I try to do each year, to join all of you in paying tribute to your honorees this year, to Congressman Ackerman and to Councilwoman Yvette Clark, and to my colleague in law enforcement, our Labor Commissioner for the state of New York, Patricia Smith. It's always a great occasion for me to be with you and to spend a little bit of time with my friend Michael and all of you. It's an opportunity to pat you all on the back for all of the things that you do in terms of supporting life. And that is particularly so here in the Flushing community and throughout the Asian American community in this city. None of it could possibly happen without the support of folks like yourselves who have stood behind us and helped us so much in terms of that which we do. It's also an opportunity for me to spend some time with my former colleagues in the judiciary and my colleagues in government, and of course my colleagues in law enforcement, particularly the men and women of the New York City Police Department who do so much for us each day in keeping us safe. So thank you so much for inviting me, and once again, I'm delighted to be here and to spend a little bit of time with all of you. Thank you.
I'm not going to sing a song. God rest his soul, James Brown. First of all, to all the honorees, dignitaries, Mr. Ambassador, sir, I love your country. I had the opportunity to be stationed there, the United States Air Force. I was at LaSalle Air Force Base. and it was a great, great life experience for me. You have a great country, sir. Now, everybody's asking themselves, how did a mayor of upstate New York get here tonight? In a few short words, I'm going to tell you. I had the opportunity to create a relationship 4.5 years ago with Mike Lim. Mike Lim